Hi, everyone. My name is Landry Etheridge with Etheridge Counseling Group, and we have with us today Dr. Etta Gant here to talk to us about a particular population that she works with a lot, and that is with veterans. Veterans transitioning to life after military, civilian life. What a unique experience that must be. For someone leaving, kind of transitioning out of military life and into civilian life. I'm so curious how you began working with this population.
Yeah, so I have absolutely loved working with veterans. They are so special and unique. But it's kind of a population that I fell into working with. I have done a lot of PTSD, major depression, anger management work, and a lot of times those are issues that veterans are facing. And I've also historically worked with a lot of men. I used to work at an all male prison setting and in a jail. And so over time, that has led me to work more with men and more with men dealing with these issues. And so that kind of has also turned into working more with veterans.
Oh.
Um, yeah.
I'm curious in your work with veterans and with PTSD, um, and sort of, yeah, so some of those populations that you mentioned, are there any sort of themes or common issues that you see in the therapy room, in the therapy setting?
Yeah, I think something that's really common is the belief system and the way of life that helps people thrive while in the military doesn't always jive when they are coming back home or starting families or in a new job. Um, because there can be a certain belief system that they have to be tough and hyper vigilant at all times, and sometimes at home, family wants you to be a little bit softer, and it just doesn't quite add up. They're trying to do the right thing all the time, but trying to figure out what that is can be really hard, and it can feel really unfair too. Um, but hypervigilance in general is a really common theme as well, whether there was any severe physical trauma related to their service or just being in the military in general and having to always keep your head on a swivel and be ready to go. It's exhausting, and as we know, the body keeps the score, and we carry that with us, and so it can be hard and almost feel impossible to really let that down. But it's actually something that I have experienced as well. Like I said, working in the jail and prison setting, I had to be really hyper vigilant a lot of the time. And just due to the nature of the environment. And even after I stopped doing that, I would find when I would go to the grocery store, like I just couldn't let my guard down. I was constantly looking around, waiting, making sure everything was okay, seeing if anything bad was about to happen. And so it's something that on a totally different level that I can relate to some as well.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking what I've not been in the military. I've never really lived in a or been in an environment where I've had to really like develop that hypervigilance to that level. And wow, what a transition that must be from really having to cultivate some like survival skills, having to be really pretty tough. And aware of your surroundings at all time. And then you kind of, yeah, thrown into like suburban life, for
Mhm.
example. I mean, what a shift. And,
Mhm.
maybe the new career path or the family setting is you're being faced with having to develop a totally different set of like skills. That is going to be a pretty tough transition, I would imagine.
Mhm.
I've not really worked with that population much, so that's really interesting to hear you talk about some of those things that, civilians might not really be thinking of. Do you have any advice for any people transitioning to civilian life? Any advice that you would give to them?
Yeah. Well, of course, I can't fully understand everything about their experience, but what I find works for a lot of my clients is one, finding an outlet, a space to release a lot of that extra stress.
Mm,
Um, whether it's exercise, surfing, something like artistic or creative, and also finding a therapist that you can trust, or having friends that you can trust as well, to be really honest with. But having a therapist that you can trust and that you feel like is really able to listen to you seems really important, of being able to vent, release, and just let it all out, and not be told that you're wrong or you're not adapting correctly or you should do all of this to change yourself. Just being able to really release and vent and be heard can make a big difference.
I love that. I mean, that's important, I think, for most people, but for particularly if you're feeling like you're having to hold so much in or wear that mask, having a place. And I heard you mention trust multiple times, like either friends or family that you can trust, or a therapist that you feel you can trust to
Mm-hmm.
just let it all out, whatever needs to come out. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting about today about veterans and that transition, and for all of your insight. I know you're doing good work with your clients and will continue to do great work with them. So thanks for chatting.
Yeah,